there is a like ample knowledge moving around on the clouds, and they can access it very easily. So interrupt me if I am not audible or there is some glitch. So for me, why yesterday's pedagogy may fail today, because AI is one of the disruptor, as we all know. Everybody knows that previously what we used to do, we used to read, comprehend, understand, memorize, and then reflect on our answers. But nowadays, this memorizing, understanding is done through AI tools. So now the students are in a level where they only want to discuss, debate, and contradict. So with this approach of the students, we as teachers have to understand that we cannot like defy their approach altogether, but yes, we can discipline them and can channelize their energy to studies. So for the students who are behaving like this, or attitude shows like there is a change in attitude, which is very natural. We cannot tell that they are very abrupt, but yes, we have to change our styles. Otherwise, the teaching gets ineffective. The students could not remember, and that is the problem why yesterday's pedagogy fails today. So AI as a big disruptor, they have changed the way studies are done nowadays. Because of COVID, we have known that even teacher is not required physically; they have to come online and deliver. Although student may listen, may not listen, it is a secondary thing. But your access to the student has to be there, continuous and seamless, while delivering your knowledge. So this AI and the COVID together had a very strong effect on the learning methods of the students. Second is vulnerability. What happens? Traditional assessment that test the lower order thinking skills. That means basically remembering and understanding. These lower order thinking skills have become highly obsolete nowadays, because they don't want to remember. They don't want to like register it into their brains, because too many information, they would be lost, they could not concentrate, and they have many other problems as well in memorizing the things. So they have a gadget, they can put a click and get the answers. They need not have to remember. So that is why the traditional way of lower order thinking skills have gone down, which was a very key learning factor in the previous years. The imperative, the higher education must pivot for grading the output to deeply evaluate the thinking processes. Yes, nowadays thinking processes has slowed down because of the access of gadgets, access of technology, information, like availability of information. So the thinking process has slowed down. They're not thinking how to improve on the knowledge, but they are thinking how to first contradict and learn from their experience. So that is why it has become imperative, and higher education should also grade the thinking process, how they are thinking. Then there should be policy alignments. As we know that NEP is being established since, like, it has been publicized, it has been given to the university to implement since 2020. Still we are failing. In 2026 we are failing to execute it properly. Why? Because straight away implementation of NEP is difficult, because of the framework, of the final framework, or a very robust framework is required. It is still evolving. The framework, that is AI immune future ready graduates, should be evolving. So we have to create a framework where AI is a part of it, but it should not impact the whole learning process of the students. So we should, as a teacher, we should also be very proud, feel proud to change our styles, learn new tricks, engage students, and be very interesting while delivering. So storytelling nowadays is very common method of delivering. Case study, debates, inside classroom engagements, and role plays. These are the very different kind of engagements that we are trying to do in higher education. So in XIM, we have tried doing that, and we are getting good results out of that also. So basically in XIM, as you know, we have bachelor's, master's, and PhDs. and that is how we are dealing with. When it is very new, after 12th, they join bachelors. So we are still in a class of 1 hour. What we used to do, we used to take care of the students and their discipline first. That takes a whole lot of energy of a teacher, but it is mandatory because they are moved out of the schools and they're getting into the bachelors or the colleges. So understanding the student sentiments first, and then adapting to their behavior and trying to change their behavior is one of the key feature in this thing. And policy alignment should be there. University should be very much supportive towards all these alignments. So what was the previous thing? The pyramid was a rectangle where top is the creating part, and we start remembering, we understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. So these are the six things of learning, or six levels of learning, where remembering, understanding, and applying are thought to be the old type or the lower order learning methods, whereas analyzing, evaluating, and creating is for the higher order learning, where brain creative ideas come in, innovation come in, and all. Nowadays, what happened? It has been inverted because of the AI. This remembering is no more there. They are using gadgets to get the information when it is required. Then understanding, they have chat GPT to make them understand in easier language. So teacher making them read, it is happen. It is not happening. So what best you can do? You can relate your topics to contents which are more available online, so that your contents are into the Google search. So Moodles, online platforms, and PTL, you create your videos and short videos like 1 to 7 or 5 minutes of videos, which can really attract the students. And now this clicks and hits and my followers, these are the trends. So you have to train yourself also to get the followers while delivering the knowledge online. So you have to become interesting. First of all, we have to admit that the classical way, classroom teaching post 12th, will not work solely. Authoritative type of teaching would not work. It is authoritative in the preliminary class, where you want to correct the disciplines, and then you start engaging as a facilitator, or as a coach, as a consultant, whatever roles the batch requires. So understanding students as per their interest has become a key pedagogy of teaching nowadays. So, for example, I teach first semester, third semesters, fifth semesters, and then MBA students. So each year or each semester, I will not deliver the same thing or in the same style. What I will do, I'll just take down the feedback in the first 3-4 for the first semesters. I will take down the feedbacks and will try to know their learning speeds. Somebody would be very smart, they would be excelling, but most of them would be into the middle part, or they would be average, and there would be few students who would be very slow. So what best you can do? You have to modulate your speed of teaching as per the condition there. So in the first semester, what we can do, we can concentrate more on remembering, understanding, or applying inside the classroom, where mobiles are not allowed. But if there is a mobile, then you have to look into other aspects, like you can start from applying things. So you take feedback from them, what they have known, and then you give the concept, and then start asking them to create stories of their own or related to their day-to-day life activities. So the old hierarchy, traditional 70% of the classroom time was spent on remembering, understanding, and applying, which is no more there because of AI reality. AI automates the bottom 3 tiers, excuse me, and they get their information instantly. But the new paradigm has shifted the pyramid to inverted pyramid, where we have to mostly concentrate on a part of applying, a part of analyzing, a part of evaluation and creation. So they are the higher order thinking skills. So we have to address to that. Nowadays, you have to, like, we have to accept that these Gen Z students have a better IQ because of the availability of many resources. Where we were, like, the millennials were afraid of using computers, like doing transaction online. They are very conversant. They can teach you on computers. So we cannot negate those things. They are the digital natives now. So what has happened? The pyramid has inverted and it has become Bloom's 21. That means it is the 21st century Bloom's taxonomy, where technology, AI, and other advanced things would impact the learning of the students. So accordingly, the teachers have to train themselves for a better teaching style. So hope as of now everybody, like my voice is audible and everybody gets it what I am saying. A thumbs up or a reaction would help me out. Thank you. Thank you. So going to the next slide. What I have tried to collate is the how to create a matrix where AI is predominant, where you cannot, like, generative AI, agentic AI, or maybe generative AI in different forms, like from text creation or generation to music creation to voice creation to image creation to video creation. So nowadays, this is increasing the level of skills of the students. We would be like failing in doing many generative AI activities, but nowadays students can create wonderful videos. So looking that strength and the skills, what we can do, we can incorporate a part of our content to the classes, which is more of AI generated videos or audios or a story or a fiction case study, or you can create many good contents. We can really interest the students, or you can also do a reverse. Ask the students to create innovative things which can make their peers learn more than what, and you can just think, sit, learn, or discuss, and then deliver. So nowadays it is more engaging than any other traditional classes. So remember, the Bloomstein said, remember and understand. We used to do what? We used to memorize concept and define terms. But nowadays, what it is happening, we have to audit the AI. Like as a teacher, what we need to do? We need to audit what is the content, whether it is correct or not, or it is hallucination or inaccuracy. So as a teacher, we have to just validate the content and then discuss the pros and cons and then get it into the classes. Second, apply and analyze. These are the middle level of learning, executing formulas, running basic codes. These are the things what happens when you are into some technical or basic science or mathematical or chemical studies. So you have to execute some formulas and then run basic codes. So what the other part of AI is, in this, what you will learn prompt engineering, which is more towards the skill development than the knowledge. So once this prompt engineering is well structured, well developed, optimized, what you will get wonderful outcomes in the classroom. So for example, I'm a commerce teacher. I teach marketing, I teach service chain, like services marketing, I teach product management. In product management, new product development, the simulations that I can easily do with AI, but that has to be validated. And prompt engineering has to be strong. That means you would be knowing the best prompts that you can create. So that is how from pure knowledge to a skill blended knowledge is the new normal. So we cannot tell that read this and come back. You have to ask the students, read this, understand, try to find out knowledge from the available resources and try to create something which is very different from the original knowledge, but which is very applicable for our day-to-day life. So that is how we change our styles in this second level of learning. But in the final level, which is evaluate and create, which is at the top of the learning, what we used to do, we used to develop essays. We have to write essays, stories, songs, we create fabulous PPTs like the Microsoft PowerPoint presentation. But nowadays, you have Canva, you have AI generated things, you have Nano Banana, you have napkin.ai. So many things are there where we can easily trigger the metacognition of the students, where the students can really tell you about their innovations, and you can really scrutinize them on the basis of the critique what they have and how they are AI biased. So you can really integrate the human computer interaction more into your classes, so that the students gets engaged and they feel that yes, this is a very very contemporary style of teaching, where my 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 knowledge is also respected and the skill develops more. So this is how the AI age Bloom's matrix can be formulated. And going to the next, moving beyond from sage to stage, or sage on the stage, that means initially the teachers were thought to be only lecture oriented, where bidirectional discussions were very limited, or it would be very difficult. If the students are afraid of the teacher, they may not also ask questions, they may not engage at all. So those type of things are nowadays a bit difficult, because you find students who are very inquisitive, they're enthusiastic, they're ready to ask anything. So initially what happened, the traditional way we used to teach them authoritative, like lecture types. You read this, this is what you should follow, this book you follow, and very instructive style. These are very okay for the school level. But when it comes to higher education, this lecture style can only fit into the first semesters, or maybe few classes of the first semesters, because post that what you will expect the students would come prepare from the knowledge from Google or Gemini, from anywhere, and they can really ask you different difficult questions. So for that, lecture type nowadays is getting lost. More of demonstrator type is coming into play. What is demonstrator type? You act as a coach, like first make them learn and then make them practice it. That is also nowadays difficult, because students don't want to showcase things in a group nowadays, because as I said, they're glued to their mobile, and they would be happy if they get online likes rather than getting a clap inside the class. So that is happening. So what best is, you make them do along with them, and then leave them to do it by themselves, and you just coach them. So that is how you can improve a bit. So this style would fit into more into when you have already lectured things, you know the student's strength and weaknesses, and then you try to help them out. So demonstration is more like applicable to the slow learners. So you make them work, you work with them, and then ask them whether it is correct or not. They will be happy that teacher is also helping them out. Then facilitator. You become a facilitator or a guide to all. What happens? You will provide the resource and they will create the knowledge or skill. So that is how you can really do wonderful things. So nowadays, facilitator type is the best type that fits into any undergraduate or postgraduate studies. It is highly effective, guides students through ethical dilemmas and peer debates. Sometimes what will happen, you will give them liberty to discuss, but you will also control them in their language, so that classroom decor is maintained and they're happy using like creating contents for themselves and to deliver. So that would build in the confidence of the students. So I will just take another 5-10 minutes if I am permitted. So the delegators are the gold standards. They work with the highest level of cognition level, where creativity is at the peak. For the PhD students, you can always be a consultant or a delegator, where you arrange funds, you arrange projects, and you become a co-partner with your PhD students. So this is how we can change our style a little bit, looking at the age where we are teaching or training. Then structuring the future curriculum, you need to focus on course revisions every year. We cannot stick to one course. We have to include at least 10 to 15% new things that is available in the market, contemporary things, and then add it to the courses. Then skill enhancement, as it goes, like these are the parts of NEP curriculum. First is major course, core courses. Then comes skill enhancement, which is there by IT, by data science, by data literacy, prompt engineering, AI, automation, robotics. These are skill development things. And ultimately, the value added course where the students feel happy using it for the society or for SDGs. So, Indian knowledge system, then digital ethics, technology and philosophy, critical thinking, then comes community engagement, then comes like human values, then comes what, sports and health. So these are value added course you can really think about. So these are also a part of the holistic curriculum that is presented in the NEP, and it also incorporates IT, AI, and everything. So in exam, what we are doing, we are analyzing the fitness level of the students through AI-enabled digital things. So a sports trainer would come and see the stamina of the students by asking few things and putting it into AI and looking at the stamina level. Accordingly, he can be suggested to play intensive games or light games. So these are happening here. So we have to be a bit flexible in adapting to these technologies. So NEP courses, core courses analyze. This is a table which you can always refer to, like which style would fit into analyze and evaluate. Analyze and evaluate would help you. Like you should be a facilitator to that. How to create? You have to be a delegator. New things will be created as a guide. You have to delegate and guide the student. So these are the three things or the three types of courses where you can apply this higher level Bloom's taxonomy, and accordingly you can select your style of delivery and you can implement AI roles. How AI can integrate with your style. AI acts as a co-analyst of massive data set. So you can give the data set, get the results, and ask to interpret. Then AI acts as a production engineer.